not going great. Let's be honest, everybody wants to West Ham, my YouTube channel. You already know I am. Today is transfer deadline day. I don't think we were all too hopeful coming into it. There's been a little bit of movement in terms of players going out. I believe Felipe Anderson is in talks with Paul, so let me know what you think about that. For me, a little bit of a rookie move, particularly if you want to get rid of Felipe on a loan deal. That's a £40 million winger. We obviously signed 2 years ago, now potentially leaving on loan. Big error for me. If you're not going to bring anybody in, it seems as well, particularly with the current transfer outgoings, we haven't brought anybody in as well. I believe Josh Cullen's gone to Anderlecht for £800,000. A couple of the youngsters ex-reported this morning, Dew, Zande Silva are all leaving on loan, Cardozo as well. So that's the under 23 squad players moving on there. I'm a little bit concerned. Obviously, it seems like West Ham are now looking a little bit at that EFL transfer deadline and saying we'll wait till then to potentially sign Craig Dawson. I mean, if we see Craig Dawson, that really is a sorry state of affairs, and that shows as a club where we're at. James Gunn says, Ben Rama, and a lot of people have been saying this as well, would be such a West Ham sign. We have more, yeah, I agree, mate. Any interest in Lanzini? I've got no idea. X hasn't said anything about that at all. But yeah, I'd have to agree, James. I think this is the issue. We've obviously all gone for centre-backs, all of which we've been turned down for. Carletta Carr, obviously that fell through because he wanted Champions League football after he spoke to Sullivan. Jonathan Tah fell through because West Ham couldn't pay the full, I can't remember how much now, I think it was 30 mil. Leverkusen wanted, West Ham wanted a loan. Uga has turned us down as well. No one wants to join West Ham at the moment, and that's my biggest concern. I don't think we need a centre-back, but definitely if that's the system we want to play, we've got to get one in. I'm not too sure how many players are kicking around that's going to fit the bill for West Ham. I've heard they're looking at a Mines at centre-back now to bring in. He was available, I think, for around 15 million euros. Again, that would be a shout. I've got massive concerns over the fact that we haven't brought in anybody up front, and we're letting a couple of our youngsters go. With only Allaire and Antonio as the only recognised strikers. And centre midfield for me as well is a big problem. The fact we've got no one in centre midfield to back up Souček and Rice. Ultimately, if Snodgrass does leave as well, and that's still on the table in terms of a loan deal. Yeah, exactly, Hammers Pole, exactly, mate. If Snodgrass goes to Celtic, then what are we looking at? Do you know what I mean? Where are we going to go? This is because of the 2 results at the club. That can't be true. Surely not. We don't need defenders anymore. See, and this is the one thing I would say as well. There seems to be a massive sort of conflict between the board and Moyes. And Moyes clearly has asked for reinforcements. He's asked for a centre-back. He hasn't got any of the targets that we believe he's asked for, at least of what we know. A frustrating thing as well for me. Yesterday you saw Aston Villa, obviously a weird result against Liverpool, but Ollie Watkins scoring, Matty Cash impressing, but on loan. West Ham could have gone for all of these players. I mean, we haven't competitive enough in this market, and that's why I think we're going to get done over. Do I think we'll get Loftus-Cheek? I believe he's on the way to Fulham, if rumours are led to be believed. Personally, on the fence with Loftus-Cheek because his injury record is absolutely appalling. He plays around 2-3 games a season as far as I'm concerned, so I wouldn't bring in RLC. I think he'll go to Fulham are strengthening as well to bring in a PSV centre-back. So, I mean, it is a real concern at the moment for West Ham. We're not bringing in enough players. We're not challenging enough in this market. I'm really not too sure how we're going to go, seriously. All right, James, I'll go down and I'll watch. There's been a lot of ongoings. I think Leeds today have signed Rafinha. Arsenal are in for Thomas Partey as well. United are going to sign Telles and Cavani. So, I mean, West Ham. And the thing I would say, and I will obviously do a video if this does become true, to sell Grady Diangana for the money that we did in the promise to reinvest it and to not back David Moyes is a disgrace. And then I can't say anything more than that. It's a disgrace not to back David Market, to not give him the money that you've got. We know that they've got £40 million, but we've never spent upwards of 30 on his top targets. It's all bizarre at the moment, to be fair. But we definitely need signings in my opinion, 3 or 4. I think we'll get 3 or 4 before the end of this window tonight. Interestingly, we're not even linked with any strikers either. I'm just having a look at deadline day to see what's the latest on West Ham. I'm despondent. Honestly, if this does, I was looking at backs to go straight to see what Bonner has. Even immense about Bueno being in with it. Yeah, I agree, mate. I think they've been fantastic. I think that performance yesterday was a real positive, but I am concerned that papers over the cracks. I mean, that has given the board an excuse to not go out and sign anybody. I think it's criminal. Again, it's almost like if we hadn't got those results, they've done it. You know, they only brought Kufal in because, I mean, I know there was links before, but they only brought him in because Fredericks then got injured. So I'm not sure what we're doing here and where we're going to progress. So I'm really frustrated. I'm sure you all are. Fingers crossed we get some kind of movement. Let me know in the comment section who you want in at West Ham. Who do you think we should be going for? I haven't actually spoken yet about Chris Smalling. Listen, I think he's kicking around. He hasn't got a club. The Roma deal's fallen through. So why are we not going to go out and try and get Chris Smalling on a loan? It seems a bit silly. But we need reinforcements big time. We really, really do. And I'm not sure where we're going to get these players in. Milinkovic would be a massive improvement. I don't know how, and someone is responsible for this, and I do believe David Sullivan, how we've left it this late. Even Ben Godfrey's gone to Everton for 20 mil. And I've got, words fail me with this type of stuff. This very market, we're not exercising any of the finances we've got. Or we're letting Felipe go on loan. We're not even recouping any. We'd have to seriously hope. I think someone made it earlier about Ben Rama. I'd look for that happen, actually, to be fair. Left back and forward. Yeah, I think we need a backup left wing back to Arthur if he gets injured, and then centre forward. I think it's a brainer. I'm a bit perplexed why we're not looking for a centre forward. And the only reason I can think is West will do that. They'll try and shoehorn Jared Bowen in there. If Antonio and Allaire are unfit. Allaire's not even getting a game at the moment. But listen, I think obviously we've had 2 really good performances so far. If one of these players gets injured, then you've got to look and say that team and that level of performance isn't the same. So yeah, not a great transfer for us so far. If not at all, it could be possibly the worst transfer window under them. We need these positions, 2 good results, and people have gone mad. We need a left wing back, CM, and I agree, mate. I know so it's not really to me, but yeah, 100%, mate. We need those positions. I think we need some kind of reinforcements in, and I'm a bit surprised that we haven't gone for any of them, even in the loan market. And I think that's the big difference between this one that we've seen, any other window, because normally we get in any old, I'll just plug a couple of holes and bring in a few people and we'll just sort something out. In this window, though, we've literally brought nobody in, even on a loan or a free transfer. So either we're not looking at, the board have decided against it, or David Moyes just doesn't want them. It is going to be problematic if we can't bring in anybody. Cullen and Sporos, we're looking thin in the middle, can't rely on Noble and Wilshere. There is a huge possibility that at least 3 of those won't be here, and arguably there are centre midfield options. We've got no defensive midfielder. Nobes is obviously not going to leave. I'm worried that we're not looking for a first choice goal. Yeah, well, I mean, there is a big argument there, to be fair, mate, because obviously Fabianski hasn't looked the best towards the back end of last season, and I think there is a discussion to be had eventually about whether we bring in a first choice goalkeeper. But yeah, and I think James has just sussed it there. That will be good enough for the rest of the season. Next season, we'll have to replace him. Personally, I think if we were a progressive club with money, we should have gone for Martinez. I just think that was an absolute no-brainer. 20 mil is a brilliant deal. Theo Walcott's gone to Southampton on a loan move. I don't know, would we have taken him at West Ham? Past it, but again, they signed Ben Godfrey. Ben Godfrey for 20 million is a steal. that's good. It's just good. It's good business, man. It's just good business from some of these clubs, and I think the backlash will come against the board now. I think obviously losing Grady and then losing another winger, is just a bit crazy. Foshizi, no idea, mate. Absolutely nothing so far. I think they said there's a few bids in and things like that. So we'll see how this window goes and whether West Ham can bring anybody in at all. But it doesn't look like it at the moment. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking about Craig Dawson, because I think a lot of people have said that Craig Dawson could end up at West Ham. I think that's looking more than likely. My problem with that is as well, you've got Watford. They've let Delafeu go about now. I think he's gone to Udinese. I mean, Ismail Assar talks with Manchester United. They looked probably to get rid of Craig Dawson. James Gunn, what if Rice, Souček get injured? I agree, man. Happy to stay up and push on. That's been the biggest talking point of this window, and I will sit on writer's block this week as well. Mark says the board have sold us down the river. I completely agree. It's probably one of the worst. It's one of the worst windows I can remember. It is genuinely the worst thing I can remember. We've gone nowhere. We've not even brought in any deadwood to kind of, fill out the squad or do anything at all. So I don't know what we're going to do this window. It really, really is a massive issue. Martinez is class. Yes, I think we should have gone for him. I think we absolutely missed the boat there. Another board watching the last two games. We do nothing. We were one, and that is what my biggest problem is with the results. Albeit, listen, I don't think anyone's going to dispute that the quality of the performances against Arsenal, even though we didn't get the win, it was much better than what we'd seen before. Wolves and Leicester were top draw. They're just reporting now and is set to join Anderlecht as well. But injuries, we're in some serious issues. And what you from the team yesterday was high energy, high work rate. If an Antonio hamstring goes, if Bowen's out for a month or two, we're going to struggle to create chances and get goals, and that's my biggest concern. And even in the centre backs, I don't think we've got too much cover there. There should be riots outside the homes if we sign. But I could, mate. It absolutely could happen, and I would not put it past them for that to happen. No, thanks to Dawson, I'd rather. Yeah, Rodon's been mentioned a few times. I believe £15 million would get him out of Swansea. Happy Hammer says the same. Rodon would be quality for us. I haven't seen anything of him. I've got to be honest, lads. I think he's got a bit of a questionable injury, but if it suits Moyes' system and he's a good player, and I believe he's young, it's the right thing. And also, what I would say as well is. Oh, okay. Any interest in Yama? I think someone reported it, but I think that's rubbish because X hasn't said that at all. Getting his wages off the books. I don't know. I'll keep Yarmolenko for the squad depth if I'm perfectly honest. I know his wages are astronomical, but you cannot let go of Carlos Sanchez, who's number one. Felipe Anderson is another one. You get rid of Snodgrass, get rid of Wilshere. That's a lot of money freed up. And the fact we haven't looked to bring anybody in, even on a loan, is really concerning. We don't have the scouting network in order to find these cheap deals. I think they've got someone called Axel or someone from AC Milan Celtic today at left back. Again, might have been an option to have looked at. It would be great if he remains injury free. No luck. I'd still well. Yeah, maybe. I think it's really frustrating. We didn't look to Qatar in and really push it. And the only problem I've got, we didn't bid. We wanted to do a loan before we gave the money because we weren't sure in. The clubs don't work like that anymore. You can't just loan one of their better defenders and then say, well, we'll pay you $3 million later. It's annoying and it's a wrong way to do business for me. Mark says we can still do Ben Rama after the win. Yeah, that would be my only hope, to be honest. If Ben Rama would, I think we could play Ben Rama. But then, are you going to really play Ben Rama? Over Fornals at the moment. You're not going to play Ben over Fornals. Maybe in that system, but on current form, Fornals has done very good, so we shall see. But definitely will add something to our squad, and he's a phenomenal player. Runners have won it, which is Metatarsal, who's got some. Again, mate, I've never seen him, so I can't comment. That's all I've heard, but a lot of top clubs have looked at him, and I think James has just said there, Athletic are looking at him. Spurs are looking at Joe Rondon, so maybe there is an opportunity there. It's tough in it at the moment, to be fair, lads. No real concrete offers in for players. We're not really pushing forward. We're not bringing anybody in. Southampton making inquiry for Man United on a loan deal for Brandon Williams. Benrahma is a winger. Our new system isn't a winning system. That's exactly what I said, mate. Would Benrahma getting over 4 nows? Will Spurs get skinnier? God knows, man. I think that skinnier deal broke down, didn't it? I think that's brilliant for West Ham, because if they don't go, Enter don't have the money, and if Inter don't, they can't buy Jorginho. If they can't buy Jorginho, Declan Rice won't leave. But I don't think Declan Rice is leaving now, which is the only positive of this window so far. Declan is more than likely to be a West Ham player by the end of the window. So, real positive business. I think I actually discussed on one of the videos today or Saturday. One of the lads that come on said Gwen Doozy's now for Berlin on a loan deal. Again, could have been for West Ham, I guess. Any news on Wilshere, mate? He could leave. I imagine that. Why would you let him leave? Why would you let Wilshere leave? I guess that way, but then you've got to bring somebody in. Bakayoko's gone to Napoli, has been another one to have brought in. Also, after seeing 4 nows was yesterday post match, can't help but love it. I agree. I think all round he's a good player, and I think his attitude, his work rate, ultimately his technical ability is top class. If people moan at Andy being lazy, wait till they see Benrahma. Yeah, again, we'll have to see, man. I'm not too sure about his work rate. Foshizi says, it's moving on now. There is class. I've never actually seen Ike, so let me know. So he's a Celtic centre back. I don't think that's keen on him though, is he? I don't know, man. Typical Spurs. They ruined Rondon like they ruined Sessegnon. Sessegnon gone to Hoffenheim. That worked well. Would have taken him at West Ham. Looks like we'll get some new signings if someone gets injured. Yeah, bang on, happy hammer. There's no recruitment drive there at all at West Ham at the moment. Really are just kind of looking to paper over cracks and bring in people. But if they're injured, that's the only way that we'll push forward as a club. I don't want to be too doom and gloom, because obviously we have had 2 brilliant performances, so it's a bit difficult to be like that. But I just think this window will come back to bite us, and we know that the board have got 40 million to spend. The wages they freed up as well, not just from this summer, by the way, but the summer previous, where they got rid of Perez, Arnautovic, Hernandez. They've got to be pushing nearly £1 million a week savings. So I don't know why that they ain't got no money. I think that's an absolute joke. You even got Panagra's gone to Olympiacos on loan. They're just options all over the place. There are options absolutely everywhere, and we just haven't addressed any of the issues, and that's my real concern. Why do we push for Smalling centre back as a priority? I agree, mate. I would be 100% on social media. Push for that deal. He's not going anywhere. The deal for Roma's fallen through. He was in good form for Roma last year. He's got Premier League experience at a top club. Bring him in. And I just like Creswell has played well. If you're telling me Smalling wouldn't fit into that back 3, rubbish. It would be a brilliant move for West Ham. It'd be a very, very clever move, and definitely better than someone like Phil Jones. Corey, do you think Moyes thinks Alès are good enough at centre back? Possibly. People asking me who's linked. I'm not X. I've got no idea. I can just tell you my opinion on stuff. Someone said Darmian's gone on loan and Dallo as well. Yeah, that misspoke. They think Alès and Baptiste are good enough at centre. Do I think he thinks that? No, he clearly can't. And there's always that sort of move to kind of bring in Creswell at a centre back position rather than a youngster. So it would indicate to me that he doesn't think they're ready. Again, we haven't really seen too much of Moyes in terms of bringing you through. It's not what he does, which is a little bit of a shame, because I think he mentioned that Red Bull model. Any South American wingers linked yet? will happen soon, mate, probably. It's getting to that time now. Would Smalling come to? I think he would, mate. And the only reason I say that is because if he's getting no ball at Manchester United and no one else comes in for him, what is the point of hanging around? And United might think the same. What's the point in keeping him in the squad? I'm a bit surprised, given United's absolutely shocking. I would look to put in Smalling there after a good season. We've missed so many players. It's ridiculous. Yeah, we've missed so many players, and it's so frustrating, because at the moment I go to a video on one transfer target. By the time I finish that video, it's already been confirmed as off. And it's just constant throughout this window, can't happen. We've missed out on Eze to Crystal Palace, early doors. Matty Cash, allegedly we weren't interested in him. Robinson from Wigan, apparently we weren't interested in. So you have gone for defensive players. Says, honestly, Smalling instead of Balbuena. Strengthen that team for when we play. You say bigger teams, man. I think Wolves and Leicester do good teams. So, you know, I think the team's doing really well at the moment. And this is a key point from James here. Aston and Wilshere on top of Hugill, Ajeti, Sanchez, Zaba, Dean Garner. Yeah, listen, man, they're lying to us. And I don't want to go too anti-board because there's a time and a place for it. But they are absolute toxic for this club. And they are swindling wages away. Like you say, Ajeti, Sanchez. The Kufal deal, right? They're going to pitch us £5 million. It's 1.8 with add-ons. It's 1.8 million we spent for that bloke. Crazy. It's nuts. Really, we really are not pushing on as a club at the moment, and it does really concern me. There's nothing. I don't think I've seen anything out there at the moment that suggests we're pushing the. In particular, I'll just have a quick look now and see if they come out. Let me know in the comment section if there's any other rumours that I've missed out. I will have a quick look at X's Twitter. I'm sure he's a busy man anyway, so let's have a look. Yeah, they reckon obviously West Ham are trying to pimp out Felipe Anderson and get rid of him. What does everyone think about the Felipe Anderson deal? Would you let him go without a replacement, or would you rather him out of the squad completely and let's just West Ham get the players that we want to play in that system? It's nuts. I honestly, genuinely cannot believe we're letting Felipe go on loan. I still think the squad needs a left back, centre back. Absolutely agree. In every video I've done, I've said exactly the thing. These are the positions West Ham need to strengthen in. I think left wing back, left back if we play back for 100%. Centre back agrees. Centre mid. The strikers is going to come back and bite us, man. It really is, and it's interesting, isn't it? Because when Pellegrini come in, I think Pellegrini said he wanted a backup in every position, and he got even Perez and their high wages, etc. And then we never recovered from that. Once he left, we just stripped the entire squad. And we were left with poor players and a lack of backup. And now it's getting... And I don't believe there are out there we could bring in for 80k a week that we just let Sanchez go for. I don't buy it. I think it's a load of rubbish. Abu says, if it make... Yeah, okay. They're trying to make the club profitable for a potential sale. Obviously, if you reduce the wages to half... Okay, it's a great shout, to be fair. We should keep Kissson. Yeah, I think it's a real bad thing to get rid of him. Marquez, Southern will be talking to Jim White. I think he's already laid that foundation, mate, to be fair. He's already come out and said, we're really trying to, but it's really hard in this market and all this rubbish. And like, mate, you've literally, I don't know, I need to do a bit of digging into how much money that they've saved. They have saved a hell of a lot of money, and it's not acceptable. If they didn't have the actual capital, they should 100% be bringing people in on loan and on free agent deals. Eustace Board sticking to their guns, staying up with minimal investment. Agree, I think that is going to happen. And I think, unfortunately, because the squad is performing so well, that they are kind of reticent to bring anybody in. Anderson will leave, yeah, and we'll he can bring Craig Wilson in. Yeah, Antonio is and that's the thing. Antonio's injury rate isn't the best. You could see him get injured next month. Again, he's been on unbelievable form, sensational for West Ham as well. You don't want to see him get injured, but it's inevitable with Antonio unless he keeps himself in good nick. Then it could happen. Why let Cullen go? I agree. The lad's on $5K a week. It doesn't make any sense. And the thing is, as well, from a lot of these, it clearly is. This is my opinion. Some form of asset stripping, because these players are going for such minimal transfer fees. Like Ajeti went for 5, Hugill went for 2.5, Cullen's gone for 800,000. Why would you not try and get the most out of these players? And I think the reason for that is, I genuinely think this: they get rid of them and then they say we're going to get a massive transfer fee, because if we get a big transfer fee or try and negotiate for these players, the fans know that we've got the money to spend and reinvest. But they're on a real sticky wicket is probably a polite way of putting it, but to let grow for 20 mil and to not even reinvest it at all directly is a disgrace. And there's nothing more you can do about that. A Premier League club should not be letting a player of that ability go without a ready replacement, bringing in someone already on 20 mil. They should have had that signed up. Now they're saying it's too late in the window to negotiate. The deal's fallen because you've left it so late. How are you ever going to get a reinforcement or someone sort of the ability to reinvest? You can't. So I think we've shot ourselves in the foot again. I'm not sure. I'm sure I'm out a little bit in the press in terms of that conflict between spot on assets driven 1-on-1. If we can't sell Anderson, keep him as a backup, he may well way back into the lineup. I think he's gone, man. I hate to say it because I think Prime is a fantastic player, but how many times do you see Anderson in terms of consistency for the club? You don't. I think he's gone as a player. His head's gone. There's something mentally not quite right there with him in terms of confidence. It's the time to let him go, but why would you let him go and not bring anybody in? You know, you'd still throw him out there if you needed someone to play. So, yeah, it's tough times. It really, really is tough times. I'm not sure how we're going to progress. All we need is a couple of injuries and we're doomed. Everyone's saying exactly the same thing at the moment. Literally, if we get a few injuries, if Soucek goes out, or Rice gets injured, who are you bringing? You're bringing in Nobes. That's not going to work. You see the way we're playing now with the press and moving higher and pushing teams. That is not going to work with Noble in that team. It's going to create a weak point. We're going to get exploited. Not good. It really, really isn't good. And I'm not hoping. Surely we're looking into that transfer market for the Championship and the EFL. Surely we're going to dip into that. It does not make that can't be right to this long. I think it could. Do you know what you could see? You could see Roden and Dawson. I think you see Roden and Dawson coming, and that'll be it. 15 mil out of 40 mil. They've made money at the club. It's ludicrous, man. We're living in a different time. I've seen Alex Telles go to United for £15.4 million from Porto. Left back. Ridiculous. It's just stupid, honestly. There's value in the market. I've been saying it for months now. We aren't looking in the right places. We aren't pushing on. Let me know in the comment section what you think of West Ham's current transfer window. Who you'd like to bring? Where do you think it's all gone wrong? And can we sort it out tonight, or can we sort it out by the end of the EFL? Because it's not looking promising. We'll touch on it as well. Rudiger's rejected us. It's not funny, but ultimately, Rudiger, people think that'd be a good shout, and I think he's in talks with Tottenham. But I don't understand what pull of the club. How does it work? They go to Rudiger, mate, do you want to come play for West Ham? He goes, no. Why couldn't we have done that a long time ago with some of these players and try and assess whether they'd actually want to come to or not? And I think that's the problem is on a negotiation tactic as well. Do you think Moyes given a full season might shock a few people? Possibly, Happy. Possibly. I think it massively depends on whether the club can continue the form that they've showed the past 3 games. That hinges on injuries and things like that. We actually haven't seen David Moyes get this far as a West Ham manager before. You could see a little bit of what happened at Everton, where there's just consistency builds and the squad builds and they get a few good results and they shock a few people. Listen, don't get me wrong, if Moyes has a brilliant season, no one's complaining at all, but you need to support him and he needs the recruitments to support the side and push on this year. And honestly, if we finish probably nearer the top half or the bottom half, it's a good season for us given this transfer window, because we've really set ourselves up for a fall. If we're going to speak on a positive, and I do need to speak on a positive because I've been ranting on a bit here, Declan Rice looks like he's staying, which is a fantastic bit of business. I think very, very similar to Jack Grealish at Aston Villa. Keeping hold of Declan Rice was a huge, huge bonus for this window. That is the only thing so far that we haven't renegated on, which is keeping him. They've said from the start they keep him. Again, I don't actually think, it just shocks me if a £65 million offer coming for him, I think they'd sell him. But the difference is it's too late now. Chelsea haven't got the money, and I just, they're not going to sell him now. Now it's this late on in the window. I genuinely cannot understand how Gold and Sullivan are Yeah, I completely agree, man. And that's the thing as well. Like, I don't understand how they've made all this money. Business wise, I think you can see they do a bit of asset stripping. They play around with the funds. They make it really, really easy for them to keep hold of that money. West Ham is a huge football club. It's massive, even in financial terms. I think it was in the top 20 in the Forbes list, and we can't afford a Carabao Cup trip. Figure that one out, man. Moyes will shape his team into his brilliant. Possibly, I won't go that far, but we shall see. Steve Hill says that we should bring King in as a backup. Mate, King starts, to be fair. Josh King starts for West Ham. If he's about and he starts for West Ham, he's a brilliant finisher. Comes off the left, can play wide, come inside, link up. That is a good deal. I'm surprised West Ham haven't actually looked at that deal to try and bring him in. M. Ratchford says Souček, Bowen, and Kufal, more of the same. The only problem I've got with that is, were they actually Moyes? I don't know where these signings have come from. Like, if you're led to what's happened, the Souček signing is Moyes, the Kufal signing is Souček, and the Bowen signing is because West Ham have been interested in him for a while. I mean, I'd be interested to see how we kind of progress in this window. And I just think it's weird we've not gone for anybody. Normally by this point, Sullivan's thrown some player at David Moyes, but he just hasn't done it this window. We need people. They're good at filling in the book. Yeah, I agree, Happy Hammer. I think there's something allegedly, because I know they get funny about people speaking out. Allegedly, I think there's something a little bit dodgy about West Ham. I really, really do. There's something, and I think it will come out in the wash, to be fair. And I think loads of people have identified it as well. Obviously, with the sale of the bowling ground was a massive part of that. That was really suspect. The £2 million rent for the Olympic Stadium, that's hugely suspect. And we've got no money. You can't fib about ins and outs. They can't also sit there and say to Jim White that West Ham we're not taking a penny out of the club, or they care about the club, and they've made £17 million. That's factual. There's no line. Sullivan transfer though, when he knows we need cover for at least 3%. And I'd have to agree. Like this is definitely the worst window I've seen under 100%. I don't think we've done worse than what we've done. Again, I think that's hugely down to. I think and people have said this and people have brought this up, so I will say asset stripping. There is an element of that. It's too odd. Why are we so? Why do they not want to spend any money? Why do they want to do it now? I think they're looking at it and thinking, let's get out of this soon because it's 2023, we can sell the club. And they'll make a mint, by the way. They'll make a serious profit on West Ham. Buy Ben Rama, Roden before 16 and get Smalling in now. That would be a good shout. All of those players would be a real. I'm not saying it'd be a good win though, because I don't agree with that. But I think definitely get reinforcements in there. That's a huge positive. Okay. Right. Fantastic. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section. What we say about this window, how are we doing? If you're on it, which all 39 of you are, drop a like, please. It helps. Apparently, I don't really understand it, but I'll really appreciate that. Loads more content coming up as well. Nothing as yet to report. Swansea have lost a winger. Doesn't mean anything unless they're trying to get rid of a few of their players. Do you think we signed anybody today? De La Feo as well. Would have looked at Deulofeu. I would have brought him in. Would have been a really good signing for me. Millwall defender Jake Cooper would be. Honestly, I haven't, to be fair. But yeah, anyone we can get at this point. I do think we need a centre back. I think centre midfield and strikers are a position being slept on. We're going to go on to Hertha Berlin. Nothing. There is nothing so far as West Ham. Jim White's not come out with his funny twice yet. So I await to see that. See what X is saying. Yeah, no Declan Rice bid so far. Jeez, man. It's terrible. Terrible window. Someone's put in a rumour on Twitter saying Hammers are making a bold move to sign John Stones. That's a wish, man. I think I talked about John Stones quite a bit actually, though, and I was a bit on the fence, but I'll probably take him on a loan. But I've got to be honest, no West Ham are really signing anyone. It's under 20 mil and on a loan. That doesn't really fit the Ben Rama move, and they should do a loan to buy. There's no way Brentford are giving us Ben Rama on a loan to buy. It's just archaic. That's not happening at all. Let's have a look. To be fair, if any of you want to hop on and let me know your thoughts actually about this window, you're more than welcome to as well. Ben Rama could say, Brent, yeah, Daniel does not him at all. Realistically, we aren't going to sign anyone. Yeah, I agree. I don't think we are going to sign anybody. Unfortunately, mate, I think we're struggling bad. This is the worst I can remember it, to be honest. People need to stop gassing Ben Rama up. Yeah, I think it'd be hard for him to fit in this squad, to be fair, at the moment. Let's have a look. Do you think a quality striker will come though and he's going to be third choice? Abraham won't come, man. He won't come. Chelsea won't sell him at all. Even though he's in trouble at the moment, I think he's definitely staying at Chelsea. Again, to look at and try and say, would you bring a youth player through? I would. I think we've got you there. It's a shame that we haven't tried to promote any of the youngsters far. I think that's a bit remiss of us. The striker thing really bugs me because I just think it's an area we need to improve on. I think there are strikers out there for 15 mil. Or we don't need a prolific striker. We just need a backup striker. We need someone that's going to come in and do a job. But a bit like, when you get like a Shane Long, I'm not promoting Shane Long as a player because I don't think finishing wise he's just so inconsistent. Work rate, he's just got work rate and constant and energy. He would fit David into his side. You could bring someone like him in because I don't think he's going to get any game time. Worst thing is, mate, a lot of our fan base side, they probably buy him. Yeah, the Ben thing, I mean, you can't argue with his quality, though. And I don't think he fits the side, but I think his quality's there. I would take him. Any chance of a Stevie anyone? I don't think we're getting. I'm telling you now, we're probably getting Roden. We're going to get Roden, and I reckon we're going to get Dawson. I think those will get. And I think we'll bring in anybody. And I think that's disgusting, if I'm honest. And I would say that now. It's absolutely disgusting to not bring those players. Really would be disappointed. Ryan Brewster. I was on all his TV as well. They said the same thing, Ryan Brewster for like 15, more 20 mil. But yeah, I think we were linked when we were with Ryan Brewster. That's the issue, mate. Like, clubs want money, want it now. They don't want loan to buy deals. I mean, that's what West Ham keep put there and keep trying to get people to do. Why would you do a loan buy? You just wouldn't. So a bit frustrating, to be fair, mate. Like, I think there has been up there. I think the only thing that keeps us up maybe this season, we've got a half decent first team. If they can keep fit for the majority, and we could have a half decent-ish season if we play the way we're playing. But it's tough, man. It's going to be really tough. Yeah, not too much else on my. Yeah, it's got to, mate. I completely agree. There's nothing really else kicking on. Let me know what you think about the current window. Are you worried about other clubs as well signing players and getting a bit of quality in there? Seen that Choupo-Moting has actually gone to Bayern Munich. I mean, I don't know how that bloke continues to get moves to top clubs, but he does, and fair play to him. Got a sick agent, probably. Surprised Sullivan hasn't tried to buy Choupo-Moting either. Yeah, listen, man. There's nothing out there. There's out there so far. I'll have a little scan and see if I can find anything. Vanay, again, he is another player that rejected us. That was another frustrating that we didn't get anybody. And that's the thing I would say before I go. The deals that we're doing, they get to the negotiation stage literally of, do you want to come to West Ham? Or before we even got fee, it's like, oh. So I just don't believe we're even speaking to these players. I just think they're just rejecting us. Southampton now doing a bit of business as well. I think they're bringing in Brandon Williams, Theo Walcott on loan. It's not bad. Yeah, really, really disappointing. So far, I'll pop back later, I think, around 10 o'clock, and we'll see whether the things have developed or whether they're the same. If not, it'll be a very, very short video. But yeah, listen, Hammers, frustrating times out there. Fingers crossed we do a bit of business before the end of the road. Yeah, and I'm going to pop off now. So thanks for joining me. If you're here, all 22 of you, drop a like, drop a comment on the stream. Let me know your thoughts about the transfer window so far. Until next time, everybody,